All right, today we're going to tackle a really cool and honestly revolutionary idea in the crypto world: decentralized exchanges. You'll hear people call them DEXs for short. Now, think about this. What if you could trade digital assets without a big company, without a broker, without any middleman taking a cut or holding your money hostage? Well, that's exactly the world we're about to dive into. So let's just keep that question front and center. What if you didn't have to ask anyone for permission to trade? What if your assets, your money, stayed in your control, right up until the very second a trade happens? This isn't just a fantasy. It's the future that DEXs are actively trying to build, a future of direct, person-to-person finance.
So let's start with that fundamental concept, trading without a middleman. It sounds simple, right? But this one idea is what makes a DEX so completely different from pretty much every traditional exchange you can think of, from Wall Street all the way to the big crypto platforms you see advertised everywhere.
So, what is a DEX really? Well, yeah, it's a marketplace for crypto, but here's the kicker: there's no central authority, no CEO, no headquarters, no single company that can get hacked, go bankrupt, or get shut down. It's just a network of users, a community, all trading directly with one another.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds a little too good to be true. A bit like magic, maybe. If there's no one in charge, what's holding the whole thing together? So let's pop the hood and take a look at the brilliant tech that actually makes DEXs work.
The first and honestly the most important rule is self-custody. On a typical exchange, you send them your money and you're basically just trusting them to keep it safe. With a DEX, you are always in control. Your crypto stays in your personal wallet, protected by your private keys, right up until the moment a trade executes. You know that saying, not your keys, not your coins? Well, on a DEX, they are always your keys.
But wait, if there's no middleman, what stops someone from just taking your crypto and not sending theirs? And that's where the real genius comes in: smart contracts. The best way to think of them is like a super smart, totally automated vending machine. You tell it you want to trade token A for token B. The smart contract takes your token A and, boom, instantly and automatically spits out token B right back at you. It's all just code, which means it's fair, predictable, and can't be tampered with. So when you actually go to use one, the process is incredibly straightforward. Step 1, you connect your personal wallet. Step 2, you decide what you want to trade, and that smart contract, that digital vending machine, does all the heavy lifting. And step 3, the new assets land right back in your wallet. It's seamless, it's secure, and it's all you. Now that we've got the basics down, let's really see what makes this so revolutionary. Let's put DEXs head to head with the old guard, the big centralized exchanges that most of us started out with. This slide really breaks it down. On a centralized exchange, or a CEX, the company holds your funds. On a DEX, you do. End of story. CEXs almost always demand you go through a know your customer process, sending in your passport, your address, all that stuff. DEXs, most of them are permissionless. Anyone can use them. This completely changes the risk game. You're not worried about the exchange getting hacked and losing your money, and you're not worried about your personal data getting leaked. Okay, but that last point raises a massive question. If there's no big company holding mountains of cash and crypto, how is there possibly enough on hand for thousands of people to be trading every second? This brings us to the most clever part of the whole system: the community-powered magic of liquidity. Exactly. I mean, for a trade to happen, you need a buyer and a seller with the right assets at the right time. In traditional finance, giant banks and firms called market makers provide all that liquidity. But in this new, decentralized world, where does that massive stash of tokens come from? The answer is so elegant: something called liquidity pools. This is a total game changer. Instead of trying to match you with one single seller out there, a DEX lets you trade directly against a giant, crowdsourced pool of tokens that's been supplied by other users, people just like you. It's like a community-owned bank for trading. So why on earth would anyone just toss their valuable crypto into one of these pools? Well, for a piece of the action, of course. These people are called liquidity providers. And every single time someone makes a trade using that pool, the providers earn a small cut of the trading fees. It creates this amazing, self-sustaining ecosystem. It's a win-win. Traders get instant access to tokens, and the people who provide those tokens get rewarded for it. So let's zoom out. What does all this tech actually mean for the bigger picture? This isn't just a new way to trade. It might just be a glimpse into the future of finance itself. You see, DEXs are a cornerstone of the whole decentralized finance, or DeFi, movement. they perfectly capture its core values. You've got autonomy, putting you in complete control of your own money. You've got transparency, because all the rules are written in open source code that anyone can check. And you've got true global access for anyone with an internet connection, no bank account, no ID, no permission needed. Now, let's be real for a second. This technology is incredibly powerful, but it's still young. It is not perfect. Using a DEX can definitely feel a little more complicated than a slick app from a big company, and there's a real learning curve if you're new to this. Things like transaction fees and knowing the risks are still hurdles we need to overcome for this to go truly mainstream. This quote just nails it. At the end of the day, DEXs are all about a fundamental shift in philosophy. They're about building a financial system that's designed from the ground up to empower the individual, not the institution. And that is exactly why they are such a critical, non-negotiable pillar of the entire DeFi world. So where does that leave us? We've seen the tech, we've seen the why, but the really big question still hangs in the air. Is this community-driven, user-controlled model the future of not just crypto, but of all finance? Now that's a question worth thinking about. Thanks for exploring it with me.